Guys, what is going on with BLNK today? Blink charging. This ticker is absolutely flying. It's up 13% right now. KNDI, a lot of other tickers as well. Solo up 8%, KNDI is up 16%. Tesla up, it was up 14% pre-market, absolutely exploding because of the S&P 500 listing news. So basically, now if you have an ETF that follows the top 500 stocks, like the S&P 500, it will be buying, like if you just buy one share of that ETF, it's going to be allocating a portion of that to Tesla, right? So that's why it's going up so much right now. Totally makes sense. And the EV market in general is exploding. This video, I want to be focusing though on BLNK. Why is it exploding? Is it just exploding because all the EV tickers are exploding? No, they have their own news. So let's go over to the charts and talk about this one as well. And while we're at it, let's dim the light here, make it nice and cozy. So here's the BLNK chart, absolutely ripping. And, mind you, this ticker has been exploding in the past. I mean, this thing has had huge moves and then massive sell-off. So it's a little bit more of your, volatile EV kind of company. And this was a 90% sell-off. That's insane. But over time, it started consolidating, kind of found a little bit of a low here between $2 and $2, big support zone. And then around this area, we had that big first breakout. This is when we day traded it a few times, nothing really too crazy though, back in July. For my day trading, just a few small ones. And then in this whole area of consolidation, and then now we're having this nice big breakout of this more or less a bull flag here. This is really looking good. First, there was the earnings that came out. We'll talk about those in a little bit, but they weren't really that convincing. They look good, but as you can see here, it wasn't really enough to hold the highs. We had a little bit of a breakout, but then we actually ended up selling off a little bit. So there was a little bit like a 4 or 5% green day, and then this thing really started shooting up because of charging station news. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, and then where I think. Where I would personally be looking for an entry, or if I would even be looking to buy BLNK. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Actually, wait, we gotta open this thing. So BLNK, quickly a little recap here. It's a pretty much almost a $500 million company, which I found quite impressive for a ticker like this. 25 million float, so that's kind of explains some of the way it moves. It's a really quick mover. If we just kind of scroll down here a little bit, this is kind of interesting. They were founded in 2009 and they're headquartered in Miami Beach, Florida. So if you're in the slower southeast region of the States, you guys might be seeing these guys a little bit more, although they're popping up all over California too through a recent acquisition they had with a company over there. So they offer residential and commercial EV charging equipment that enable EV drivers to recharge at various location types. Let me go ahead and actually go to their website, and we could see this company kind of in action a little bit here. This is one of those charging stations that they have, and if you scroll down here, they actually nicely list some company news. So the first news on the 12th that came out, that was the earnings Q3 results. Let's quickly look into this one a little bit, because there's a few kind of fun facts or important facts I would probably go ahead and talk about. And I just actually realized that there was a highlighted section over here. I highlighted a few things of my own, and it looks like pretty much all the same stuff. Yeah. So selected highlights. This is pretty important. Total revenue for the first 9 months of 2020 grew 84% to 3.8 million. That's actually really good growth during the coronavirus economy, which apparently they had some issues with delays and whatnot. So that's really good. Total revenue for Q3 increased by 18%. Really nice there. And like this is where they say despite business interruptions due to coronavirus, and down there in the report a little bit later they talk about the delays they were having. This is nice. 668 EV charging stations were sold, deployed, and acquired across 25 states. So they are going through all of the US. That looks really good. The problem I have with this ticker so far is their net loss was $3.9 million. So they're actually losing money. That's why they have a negative EPS. If we actually go back here, oops, where was that? Did I close that? No. Can't believe it. Yeah, let's just load this one. So yeah, they had a negative EPS. Good thing to know. And actually worse than the same time last year. So just keep that in mind. The company technically is losing more and more money, but they've been doing a lot of stock offerings, and they've been kind of raising a lot of capital that way. That's not, the worst news. I mean, a lot of companies that are growing, they tend to, be bleeding cash fairly heavily. Let's just scroll up here a little bit again, and then just go here to EPS, where is it? EPS, there it is. Yeah, so here you can see it, EPS next quarter. These are our estimates, and yeah, so right now it's at negative 0.43. I think that actually needs to be updated here. Sometimes on Finviz, guys, I just want you to be aware that sometimes the news is a little bit delayed, and that's why every time, like if you go to Yahoo Finance, it's a little bit different than Finviz, which is a little bit different than, I don't know, Google Finance. They're all a little bit delayed, and they update at different times. Always the best place if you want to get the latest news is, go to the SEC filings and check the, the 10Qs yourself. But yeah, this is also a nice little way to get some highlights. So this sounds really good. This is clearly a company you're buying into for growth, right? You wouldn't be buying into, it's not a value play, right? This is a pure growth play. Yeah, I mean, based on their earnings, this company doesn't look too good, but based on their growth is really what you're looking for, right? Now, the news that recently came out is there's been an improvement with their chargers here. They're kind of coming out with a new edition, which I'm still kind of scratching my head here a little bit, so feel free to chime in the comments below. There's a new cable management solution, allows for a consumer-friendly charging experience. This is where I was kind of a little confused about. I was like, okay, well, is this kind of like a new charger that works with more cars, or what's going on here? And then apparently it really is more of a consumer-focused charging experience. Well, I mean, apparently that's enough to get the stock price up 13%, which is, makes sense. I mean, people like comfort. That's a huge selling point, I suppose. So while reducing the number of touch points on EV charging equipment, I think this is probably even better because it's just, less things that can go wrong, right? That's really nice. New product offering addresses the needs of an estimated $17.6 billion EV charging infrastructure. This is pure hype. This is just like, is not even really relevant. Yeah, it's good. They're letting, it's a public PR report. They're kind of letting people know what's going on. I'm not trying to sound over pessimistic, but I'm trying to play both sides here a little bit. This is just a little bit of hype as a growth company, they have to let people know what's kind of what's possible, right? So let's read a few things here I found kind of interesting in this PR statement. This new product speaks to what Blink is all about, and this is where again I was kind of scratching my head. Being the most flexible and resourceful EV charging company, we pride ourselves on responding to the needs of our host locations. So apparently maybe they've been getting some kind of complaints going on here that there could be some improvements. I don't know. Here we go. Let's learn about this cable charging system. The cable management system is compatible with both the rectangular and triangular pedestal charging stations for new deployments and installed equipment. It also works with wall and pedestal mounted chargers, keeping the charging cable off the ground. I think that's kind of important, especially at on charging stations, parking lots, and all that stuff, while providing convenience for customers charging their EVs. This system includes a retraction mechanism modeled after traditional gas pump designs, ensuring ease of use for familiar gas pump operations. That's good. Additionally, the cable management system eliminates the EV's driver's needs to wrap the charging cable around the pedestal. I think that's really nice. Saves time for drivers and minimizes tripping hazards. Yeah, especially in the States where there's just, people are suing each other left and right. Many fleet operations and large RFPs from utilities and municipals or munis increasingly require cable management solutions. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So they're kind of addressing these larger maybe institutions. And Blink is pleased to be able to address these requirements in an eligible and slim design. I mean, overall, I'm not bashing on it. I'm not saying it's, this doesn't make any sense. It totally makes sense. I was just expecting something a little bit more, I don't know, profound maybe? I don't know. Anyway, good news for them. I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for everyone that's long. Let's see how high it can go. This is a really nice 2-day rally here from this kind of catalyst, which has me very, very impressed. 45% move. I mean, that's a big move on this catalyst. So based on that kind of move, I would be a little bit nervous here buying near the highs. I gotta say, we had a beautiful pullback around 12, big kind of drop in the morning, and then another 20% rally from there. We have a big high here at 1458. That's what I would be looking at. Looks like we try to reach these areas and then came into some resistance. So we have not made a new high just yet. And if we go back here to the weekly chart, you can see that all-time high was 15. Overall in the weekly chart, I really like this kind of bull flag. I like the breakout we're seeing. Volume on a big move like this is fairly light. So this is making me a little bit skeptical as well. It kind of seems like this is a very hot move, and I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hold our highs here that well. So that's why I would be looking for a little bit of maybe consolidation, maybe a little bit of a bull flag here forming before a continuation. That's probably what I would be looking for if I want to average into this one. Clearly 12.5 is showing big support. And again, even a little bit under 12, around 1180 or so could be a really good spot to buy. I think an aggressive buy that is, in a sense, a little bit more conservative. So if I was long this ticker and I wanted to enter, but I wanted to be a little bit more conservative, I would be looking for maybe some sort of pullback, like I said, to around 12, something around the 9 EMA. We've had some nice moves to the upside on this one before, and the 9 EMA has sometimes been good retest areas. Not sure if we're going to get, move, let's say, past 11.5 or something like that, but that's what I personally would be looking for. We actually just sold one of our trades, our swing trades here, KCAC. This was a really nice one. This is one that we were buying here near the big support, and then we had this big pop to the upside, and we sold at 20.7 right here in the after hours, and that was a big move like this, and all they were doing were they were announcing merger, or the merger that everyone kind of already knows about. There was nothing majorly new with the news, and I was like, this just doesn't feel right. But this news at least had bigger volume. That's why I'm a little bit more pessimistic here with the overall BLNK kind of play. But at the same time, guys, the EV is a very hot market, and you just don't really know what can happen. I wouldn't be surprised if, in the end, we had at least a 10x move from the lows, which we are pretty much having now. But let's say these lows are roughly at 12, and maybe you can run to 20 or so. So a big place to break out is 15. That's the big question mark, or even 14.5, and then maybe we can run from there. So that's what I am personally going to be watching. In terms of day trading today, it wasn't really too interesting of a day. We're up 120 bucks. We traded CTIB and LXRX. I don't know. I was almost getting a little bit tired day trading today. It was just really something that, if I didn't, honestly, if I wasn't streaming, I probably would have just walked away at some point, which we kind of did at like 11:10. Or 10:10. I was pretty much like, oh, guys, everything's selling off. It doesn't look good. LXRX was, at first I was kind of interested in this one. USA Biotech, 51 million flow, kind of on the higher side, but they had some really nice catalyst here. And then, pre-market, they had a very vicious move, 20%. Well, okay, it wasn't even that vicious, but the way it was trading was kind of ferocious. Although here it almost had no volume, and I actually ended up closing this one. I missed this huge run to the upside. But then I was like, this ticker is just way too explosive right now, way overextended pre-market. And then it ended up, giving back all that move. And I, did a few little dip trades here, but it was a sketchy ticker, and it still has yet to make a proper reversal. So not too nice there. And then CTIB, a little bit of profits here on this one, 3 million float, a little bit nicer. U.S. auto parts company, part Chinese company. I don't really know what to say. I mean, this one had some interesting moves here, but then the flushes kept on being kind of aggressive. You can see every time it kind of approached the high, it always had these wicked pullbacks. So you wanted to trade CTIB a little bit more aggressively, so I actually ended up doing one kind of aggressive move. I ended up buying into this breakout, and then I sold here on the second candle as I was looking for a break at 270, but ideally something that maybe would go into the 280s. We eventually did have that, but I closed it out. Who knows? I would have got skunked out or something if I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, SQBG, this one had some potential, and there's one little spot where that potential really kind of shone. That was right here on this little bull flag here. Corey nailed this trade perfectly in the chat room. I was like, at 9:22, I had my finger on the trigger and I was like, I should buy, but I don't know. Like, it's not that hot of a day today. I don't want to somehow FOMO into a trade. Man, oh man, like I should have stuck to my gun on this one. This was perfect. I would have probably closed profit on this first move to the upside, walked away with like 4 or 5%. But you know, you had that option for a 7% trade, even entered on the pullback, and then it had another 10% move. So this was, you know, a really nice move, altogether a 13% move. So that was probably the best trade of the day. But other than that, it was just kind of a slow day. So I don't really regret necessarily missing anything. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on specifically focused on this video. What do you guys think on BLNK? I'm super curious to hear your guys' thought. Did I miss anything? What do you think about the analysis? If you enjoyed it, guys, don't forget to drop a like. And if you're totally new here, guys, consider subscribing. We go live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to trade the market open after reviewing our watch list. Community is a beautiful place, and it's growing very, very nicely. I look forward to seeing you guys every single day. So if you're totally new, consider subscribing. I would love to see you there. And like always, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Till next time, guys. Ciao, ciao.